Well, thank you very much. I'm honored to be here, and now I'm going to play with our lighting so that you can see the slides. This is going to be fun, ladies, because I feel like I'm talking to fellow dreamers. And I need to stay right here so you can hear me. As women, we know what it takes to bring our dreams to reality, as Elizabeth said. I just got bored one day, and I went to Rich Morrison downtown, one of our city planners. He's not there anymore, but I said, Rich, I'm bored. If you know me, I like to be bored. And he said, Jean, let me show you a house. And I said, okay. So we made an appointment, and I saw a house. And you know that in order to accomplish our dreams, our 6 dimensions need to be in place. And if you haven't thought about that lately, right now I'd like you to put both feet on the floor, roll your shoulders, take a deep breath, forget about this afternoon, relax with me because I'm going to exhaust you. I'm going to show you what women love, before and after pictures. I'm going to take you on a little trip. And I went to a hats fundraiser, and I was just sitting down with my plate mounted with food. I'm a foodie, and I was having a good time. And Sharon Tillman was sitting right there, and I think all of you know Sharon. And I sat down next to her, and I explained to her what I'm doing. She said, my son-in-law, Bradley, would be an excellent chef for your endeavor. And I thought, wow, I hadn't even thought about a chef yet. So I called him up, and I never heard from him. I waited, and I thought, well, who needs a chef? Well, to run a bed and bistro, okay, we definitely need to have good food, and I think we've accomplished that. But Sharon, where are you? I want us to thank Sharon. Thanks to Sharon's intuition, women are connected. I feel like I'm connected with more than half of you. As a friend, a colleague, a professional, now I can be your hostess at lunchtime or dinner. I want you to have fun. I want you to relax. If you come to the Ginkgo Tree Inn, my goal is for you to walk out and say, that was fun. That was, as somebody told me this morning, it's magical. If you come in and say, I'm tired, or I'm frustrated, or whatever, what's your dream for that day? But the 6 dimensions, ladies, don't forget, this is my little professor hat. You've got your social dimension. We're accomplishing that here. You're healthy socially, I hope. Physically, emotionally, how we feel. Mentally, how we think. Then we've got, I'm out of order. I haven't taught about the dimensions in so long. The spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, physical, occupational. We know that if we don't enjoy what we're doing, what happens? We start to maybe break down. But anyway, enough of doing that part of the dream. All of you have dreamt. Some of you have bigger dreams than me. Dreams can be sad, can't they? Dreams can hurt. I'll tell you that the 11 months that this project took, there were days that my dream really bothered me. It was a nightmare. As I fired contractors working for me, that I was my own general contractor, and they thought maybe I didn't know how this or that should be done or whatever. I lost money by being aware of what I needed to do. One contractor said, you're dangerous. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, you know too much. So, okay, and now I'm going to replug because my little,
there you go.
Gone to sleep. There we go. We're back. Well, that is what the house looked like. Rich and I went over there. That's my sister-in-law, Jane. And I looked at it. She said, what are you even thinking about this for? I said, come on, this has potential. Look at these pictures. Not bad, right? Nice little house. Well, it's not little. Here it's probably 3,000 some square feet. But it's got flowers, a little driveway. Let me take you inside. All right, there's the side porch. Now look at the porch because it's totally different. As a matter of fact, as you see it, you know now that little tiny porch no longer exists. Neighbors were quite upset with me because I made the house look bad. This is Dr. Gardner's medical diploma from the late 1800s. I think this one's 1894. He built the house. Here's his shaving mug. People are bringing me things. Isn't that amazing? And I'd like to thank my photographer, Steve, in the back of the room, who comes in and he takes pictures for me, and he just helps me preserve memories. This is the little garage out back. This March, that will be disappearing. We're going to have a big deck because right off to the back of the picture is the river and Island Park. Here's the back of the house. And now we can go inside. As you walk in the front door, those doors are gone. I've refigured the house a little bit to make it more usable. This is the front entry room. Look at the curtains. What do you see 1/3 of the way up? If we had tables there, she had cats. Okay? And you'll see pictures. We just had to eventually tear up the flooring. I couldn't handle the smells and things. Okay, the staircase, I loved it. Now you have to remember that I can hardly breathe while I'm going through this. The house had sat empty, and the smells, I think that's part of the reason nobody else ventured in. All right, entryway. Now, here are the lovely sights. Okay, you're gonna see that. Her china cabinet I turned into our bar. Okay, the floors. The back door, the house was vandalized before I bought it. The city put that steel door and the board up. Inside closets. The one bathroom in the house. Come on in. Oh, by the way, when the builders took that door off to my second story deck, it was full of carpenter ants. So I became good friends with Mr. Orkin. And then this was the basement. Those are my old pipes. Everything's new. Sewer, 4-inch water line coming in so that the new 8 bathrooms can have enough water pressure. That was a basement bathroom that Dr. Gardner had. That's the cistern. And he was so amazing. Up front here, this is coal. I think that the rain came in, and as it poured down into where they could use it, it was filtered going over the coal. Isn't that amazing? Sewer lines coming from the upper floor. Now here's my first transitional picture. You ready? All right, look at the fireplace. Look at the back room. Here we go, because many of you have been right there. All right, there's my front dining room. Let's do some more before and afters. Okay, here's our stairs. Notice we've torn out the ceiling, the walls, everything. Notice the floor, the new wood. We tried kills, varnish, sanding, urine removal, odor-free things, and I thought I had it. Okay, we coated it with so many things, and I walked in on a hot, humid July day, and my nose went, no! If you would have been out at the courthouse that day or around, you would have seen me walk around the house going, no, what am I doing? I told the builders, I know you've got trim done, I know we're ready to move on, we're taking the floor out. And we took it out in many places. Well, here is now that entry. There's the staircase. There it is, as you would see it today. Here I am carrying some beverages to people. It's a delightful stairway. Now, here's another good transformation. Okay, this is coming onto the second floor where there are 3 bedrooms in the library. Isn't that nice? I hung all my own wallpaper. It took me 4 months. I did hire a painter to help. My daughter and I sanded the floors, stained. We put the little, I forget what you call it, on top of the pedestals. Just had a really good time. Okay, this is the staircase going up to the 3rd floor, and there it is after. Now, these homes were called Painted Ladies. You know, in California, there's a line of, I think it's 7, and they're just amazing homes. Each of the Painted Ladies have to have a crowning jewel. Here ours is. That's right as you go up to the 3rd floor. It's 2,000 pieces of glass. There it is from the side view. It weighs hundreds of pounds, solid brass, and my builder put a steel plate up in the attic to hold it because we were so afraid that it would come crashing down. Okay, there's the china cabinet, tearing out around it, and there it is done. That's the middle dining room, and then look out back here. Now we're going, oh, well, we're really in the back. We're adding the kitchen. To the lower left, that's all new. We went out, I think, about 14 feet because the old kitchen had to be turned into the ADA-approved bathroom. So here's our kitchen on the right. That's what we're adding on to in March. We've outgrown our kitchen. I have 3 chefs, and they're all having a good time. I went to Bay City, and I bought stained glass windows. That is in this woman's bathroom. And then to make it look like the kitchen was always there, there's the stained glass window, so that when you look at it from outside, it looks like the addition was always there. The builders cut all the little teeth and the different corbels on there. They did such a good job. So here's the kitchen now. That stained glass window is to the top left to give you a bearing. Our kitchen is so tiny. Okay, there's Chef Lisa. She's here from the West Coast. You'll enjoy her soups. Her sandwiches are great. There's Chef Bradley. That is Sharon Tillman's son-in-law. Gwen, where are you? Gwen Tillman in here. That's Chef's wife. Okay. So he's with us. This is Jake. He's working on some crab cakes, which are phenomenal. And now we're in the back of the house, the garden room. That was the porch. And I just decided to make it a whimsical place. My little cherubs are trying to have fun. They're trying to escape from behind under the lattice. Our teacups, when you dine with us, you get authentic cups. And people say, aren't you afraid of breakage or whatever? I'm old enough now that they're to be enjoyed. Yesterday, 2 got broken. See my beautiful gold? Okay, that one broke yesterday, and that one broke yesterday. But that's okay, we have a lot, and they're to be shared. Not by customers, by staff. And no, they don't have to pay for them. Here we are on the 3rd floor, the front of it. It had a punky kind of board on it, and the windows, you can't really see it, but the cold air was coming in, they were cracked. And the floor is pine, it was not the oak found downstairs. So we started working on it. Here's the after wallpaper, and the whole house has new windows. Vinyls that go up and down, they work well. That fireplace I found in Bay City, it's got an insert now. And there's the bed that fits in there. And then looking from the bed, lay down and you can watch the fire. Women love this room. Okay, that's the Wedgwood. And let's see, next we're in the turret room. People wonder, what did she add? What's in the round turret? That's looking up. And then here's the drywall that had to be soaked and put in. This was very difficult, and there it is done. So that is on this bedroom. This is bedroom number 1, called the Golden Oak, and the bathroom door is down, it's right here. Your sink is outside, but each room has its own bathroom. They each have a TV with a built-in DVD player, just in case it's rainy or cloudy day. And in our library, we have lots of movies that people can watch. And there's looking at the bed. So that's a fun room. That room is rented out quite a bit. Attorneys working on cases across the street at the courthouse love to stay with me because we take good care of them, and they just have to walk across the street to work. They say, this is amazing. This is the grand ginkgo room, also on the 3rd floor. It has a little balcony that looks out over the river. This fireplace is out of a mansion in Grand Rapids. I went to Craigslist quite often, and I typed in old fireplaces, and they were going to destroy a mansion, and I went down, and my husband and I peeled that off the wall, and the tiles are 100 years old, and each of those little tiles is worth over $30. I was so blessed and having a lot of fun with that. This is the insert. My husband cut off the back for me, welded it together, and here I am giving it a new face. The before and the after, and we cleaned it up so it doesn't smell like creosote or anything. And now we're in the sugar plum room. You can see the new window inside. They don't match perfectly, but they're not bad. And then I took the window that was here, turned it into French doors that go out on the 2nd story deck. And everyone said, how did you order all these chandeliers and all your stuff? I couldn't have done it without my best friend, my iPad. I would even crawl into bed at night, and when I heard my husband snoring, I'd get my iPad out. Under the covers, I'm typing in chandeliers and whatever. They're from all over the country, and even that big one from Italy, and it was so much fun buying things. And my father, for one, said, you're getting way too much stuff. But I knew where I wanted each item to go, and I do have some extras. We're going to have a sale this spring. But I loved shopping for the project. And there's that room finished. Now that bed is from Missouri, and it's very similar to Abraham Lincoln's. If you go to museums and things, his bed looks a lot like that. I had to use a Skytrack to bring it in through the French doors, and then it took 4 men just to move the headboard. Solid mahogany. Very, very heavy. Now we're in the Scarlet Maple Room. It's front, it's facing the courthouse out these windows. And then over here it looks to a house that will eventually be removed. But this is a fun before and after. You ready? There's after. This room has delightful twin beds, and their bathroom door is right over here. And we haven't shown you all the rooms, but this gives you an idea. Now we're going outside. I hope, the best handicap ramp in town. People appreciate it, and we have fun with that. So here you see the turret. Here's our whole new addition, all new porch. Back here there's a fountain, and this will be a walkway going through a courtyard to the back of the house. There's the sky track that helped us do a lot. We have the cone, we have our half round. These were things I just had to have. We have a ginkgo tree leaf going there that matched the sign in the front. And we're getting closer. We're missing the skirting on the bottom. But here's a side view, and there it is finished. It took 4 men 4 weeks of over 10-hour days to paint. Just amazing detail. This is the little gazebo that's out back that I purchased from the high school. They didn't need it anymore, and here it is now. We stripped it, stained it, and my statue is called Crocus Croquet, and if you didn't see it last fall, spring, summer, it was put out in the front yard by an art student here at Central who wants to be a sculptor. She came to me and she said, "Can I use your front yard as my platform?" I said, "Sure." It was a mess. She said, "I need to make a sculpture and then do research and watch how many people slow down and look at it, how many stop, how many touch it, how many take the brochure away." And so after her research, I said, "What are you going to do with her?" Because so many of you commented on it. She was all white, she was duct tape and plastic. And she said, "Oh, we're just going to throw it away." I said, "No, let's paint it." So she sewed a real dress. You can see the stitching on it. And then she coated it with a hardener. Here are the crocuses and a little croquet hoop. And so we're going to treat it again this spring, and it'll go out in the front yard. But that's the story behind Crocus Croquet. And now my next dream is to be a better grandma. This is little Hannah, and she's wonderful. She's 5 hours away, and I have 2 more grandchildren coming this summer. And that is my dream of the Ginkgo Tree Inn. And would any of you like to ask me questions?
Do you give tours?
Tours in, kind of. To special groups coming in, I do. That's a hard question because I started out doing a quiet opening. No grand opening because I can only seat around 40 to eat, and I knew everybody wanted to see the house. So even with a quiet opening, we were slammed. And I gave so many tours, it wore out carpeting. And then people were staying in the rooms, and sometimes people would convince me, because nobody locks their door up there usually, and they'd say, "Oh, let us just peek." Well, people don't want their stuff even peeked at. And so then I tried a sign on the stairway, "Take off your shoes." And then somebody said, "Ooh, what about plantar warts and athlete's foot?" And I'm like, oh, so I'm serious. It's very hard to give tours. So I'm going to tell you, we really don't give tours. If you come and you get a gift certificate for somebody for a room, which happens a lot, I will let you walk around with me, and you can even designate a room so we know it's reserved. If you come with a group, I love to give tours. We had Kevin Cotter, a little fundraiser. I think Jennifer's in here. I appreciate them very much. Lily was there, a whole bunch of people. You're becoming my regular friends, and I love it. Thank you for blessing me. I'm happy to bless the city, but I gave them tours. I let them walk around because it's just so much fun to look at.
What's your website?
The website is in process. It's called ginkgotreeinn.com. And pretty soon this will be up there with some music. We have another a YouTube video there, a little commercial that's on there. And pictures are coming, the menu's coming. I hired someone to do it. This is kind of funny. I have so many little funny things about this project. he did a website, and I went to it, and it was a dinner plate with a wine glass and everything, and I wanted ginkgo leaves on the plate or somewhere. They were marijuana leaves. I said, "Oh, get that off the internet. I mean, this is going worldwide." And he said, "Sorry, I just did an internet site for somebody else, and those were my leaves." Oh, in the back of the house is a ginkgo tree. And when I bought the house, I said to the city, "Oh, I'm getting rid of that tree. It's blocking my view, and it's got those messy leaves. They're heavy to rake, and they're just a pain." They said, "You may not touch that tree. If you hurt that tree, you're in trouble, because my house is on a land contract." And so I told all the builders, "Don't get near that tree." What happens? The excavator comes in, whoosh, they wing around, and they took out a huge portion of the trunk. And I went out there and went, "Uh-oh." He said, "What's the matter?" I said, "This tree has to live." They called a tree doctor, they put salve on it, wrapped it. And I said, "You might have to buy me a new tree, but so far it's living." Okay, so there's a big ginkgo in the back. They think it's one of the oldest in the state. CMU has beautiful ginkgo trees. If you walk around, you'll see one outside Warner and a couple others. They're the fan-shaped leaf. They're ginkgo biloba, you've heard of, for brain health. And I went to Mountain Town Station. I said, "I want you to make me a ginkgo brew." Call it Gibbs. Ginkgo in brew, and it's the only beer I can guarantee you that will help your brain. So drink a beer, study. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. Questions? Yes?
Can you tell me how old the house is, and did you do any research to do historical reproductions with it in terms of your wallpaper?
Thank you. Very good question. The house was started in 1902. Dr. Gardner was taking his time, making it all perfect. Every little piece of lath strip that I tore out was perfectly placed. He probably had little pieces of wood, and he measured. His basement was poured. That ugly cistern I showed you, that's part of a big poured system. So I did do research on Victorian homes because I was never a Victorian person. And I did do research. Why were some of my pillars on the front porch square, and then I had round? Different things that I found out, and so I tried to be accurate. My wallpapers are tastefully Victorian without doing plaid and flower and on the ceiling and all over, because not everyone likes that look, myself included, so I tried to keep it tasteful. The furniture, I tried to stay with that genre, and yeah, good question. Then he met the lady that he was going to marry, and somebody just brought me a picture of the couple. Here's a funny piece of history. He married a woman, they never had children. So his niece became very important to them. And when his wife died, that he married the niece to keep the house in the family. Back then, I guess you could do that. People go, "Ugh." Well, that's what they did. And then she had the home for many years. He was the oldest practicing physician in Michigan in the 1950s. He practiced right up at close to his 90s. And then a single woman, Verda Marie Davis, bought the house. And some of you knew Verda Marie. She worked at Central for a long time. She loved to entertain. And when I bought the house and started cutting down trees and took the porch off and everything, it upset the family. And I understand that. I was very sensitive about it. We emailed. Some of them couldn't drive by on the street or whatever, and I understood that. But as soon as I was finished, I invited them in for pumpkin cake and coffee, and they loved it. And my highest compliment is, Verda Marie would love what you've done with it. It's still a house of hospitality, a house of good character, and they now are bringing me things. My 3 diplomas that I have of Dr. Gardner, I have this sheepskin. When you got your doctorate, it was on sheepskin. I've got that. I don't have a picture of it here, but they are bringing me things. And what a nice tribute. In my basement, I've got the cherry tree room that can seat 12 people for a private luncheon, and I've got Dr. Gardner's little historical well inset, and then I have now Verda Marie's little museum. So I'm collecting things, and I'm just watching for things that went out in the sale that I wasn't part of because I didn't know about the house then. So if any of you hear or have anything, I'm bartering. You want a meal? Or if it's worth a room, okay? Cash poor, but I've got services. I've mortgaged everything my husband says in my life except him. So it's been fun. Yes, ma'am?
Is the restaurant open to the public?
Yes, the restaurant's been open 3 months. We started doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. People didn't come out for breakfast. We may try that this summer, but this Sunday, you're the first to know we're starting our brunch. Sunday brunches are from 10 till 2, and we're gonna blow you away. 4 courses and absolutely phenomenal menu. We're gonna start you out with peach mimosas. And we are not making, I gotta be honest, the orange bread that the Sweet Onion had, the Embers, everybody loves that orange bread. I've ordered that for years too, so we're gonna give you that nice moist orange bread, and from there, the gates are open and it's worth it. Reservations, we've already started. They're a very good idea. I'm turning people away most lunch days. If you were there before Christmas, I'm sorry I turned you away. We were serving 80 to 90 people a day for just lunch. And that little kitchen, you should have seen them, flames just going on the stove, and we stayed consistent with good food. And so now we're gonna start the brunches, and we only do dinners Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And what is needed? Thank you. I kept saying recommendation in my brain. Reservations are needed. And we've had our first walk-ins for a hotel room. Yes, we're arriving, so that's exciting. You know what? As a professor, I used to like to use a true thing. Anybody have a dream they want to get going? And we could use you as an example. I could walk through the stages. How many of you have wanted to run a B&B? That's amazing, because all the women coming in say, I always wanted to do this. Well, to start a dream, you have to be somewhat of a visionary. A visionary can take what doesn't look like anything to somebody, whatever that might be. It could be a human being. If you're foster parenting, adoption, you have a vision, a goal, a dream for those children that you're loving, nurturing, guiding. It may not be a house. I mean, when I was little, I was always building houses I had Legos, I had little red plastic bricks, I had cardboard. I made the best tinfoil swimming pools you ever saw. So I think I've always liked houses. What are your passions? To go with a dream, I think it has to be hinged with your passion. Think for a minute, what is my passion? And if you are working, doing, dreaming your passion, you never work a day in your life. All we do is play and have fun, right? You've heard things like that. So you have to decide. I'm glad no one raised their hand about a B&B. Well, one person, because you have to have a passion for hospitality and nurturing and long days, dying to self to do this. And so think about, what's my passion? Put it on paper. Nobody has an idea? I love to use examples. Okay, and I'm at a loss. I can't think of one per se. But write things down. Give yourself a budget and then triple it. And give yourself a time frame. I got way off, and you know that with homes. I wanted to open desperately for summer festival. I wanted to be open mid-summer. We opened in October. Not bad. I had approximately 10 to 15 people working at the inn every day. And boy, if you ever see my husband, if you know him, say, you are an awesome man, because he gave me freedom to do what I wanted and loved me, supported me. He still does. He's wonderful. We've been married 31 years, like that little clip said. And this leads to my next thing. I'm going to leave the mic. Hopefully you can hear me. A lot of you have accomplished major dreams. For example, who in here has been married 50 years? All right. I need a runner. Oh, yeah. You guys. And I'm under the premise that people like balloons. Yeah? Who is going to Florida soon? Go back. Go back. Who's expecting a grandchild? Oh,
Will you go back to the 50s?
How many times are you supposed to hit 50 before you get a balloon? My husband and I have been married 62.
Rose, give him the balloon. They don't have a 62 balloon.
Well, I'm sorry that I
You give her
can't take
this.
this.
Yeah, she can get a whole one.
You get this one.
Oh, there you go.
Rose, take this in your car. Rose, raise your hand. For 62. Oh, she got that one. Who is a student at Central? What? Who has 1 degree from Central? 2 degrees? And 3 degrees? Anybody? 3? Okay, over there. Where? Sharon, over there.
Raise your hand again.
Who needs to have a thinking of you balloon that they could pass on to somebody else? Who needs it? Cheering up, okay. Pass that right behind you. Thank you. Who, this is a good one. You're not over the hill. Who has somebody they could give an over the hill balloon to?
Oh, she has a mother that's
Sorry. Does anybody have a 21-year-old in their life? Okay, right here. Carol. Right here. Yes, Carol does. How many of you were a soccer mom? Right there. Are these some of the dreams that we have as women? Yeah. All kinds of different things. You may come and take a balloon and pass on. These are all have helium. All I ask is that you hang on tight. Because my helper and I this morning lost a couple, and it was woo, fun to get a hold of them. And I'm sure Randy wouldn't appreciate balloons all over. But come and get some balloons and just go for your dreams, ladies. Stay connected. The major part of a dream and being a visionary is you're connected with lots of people. And now you are helping me accomplish my dream by keeping the house alive. It's set, it's good to go for another 100 years, and you are all welcome to come in. I thought of running off coupons for a free cup of coffee, ran out of time. So if you come in and say, I saw you at Women's Connection, your tea is on me, and I would love to have you. Thank you very much.